So hopefully you guys have been watching the news lately. If you haven't, speech might get kind of confusing. Hopefully not. But we've all been hearing in the news about the school shootings and gun violence and everything like that. It's been super depressing, really, really sad. And a lot of them have been in schools like Sandy Hook and all those other ones. And so the school has reacted, a lot of schools have reacted to gun violence by cracking down on zero tolerance policies. Some have gone and done amazing things, and others, I believe, have gone too far with what they've done. So I believe schools have been going too far with their zero tolerance policies, and I understand that the teachers and faculty of the school, they are scared about the world around them and how gun violence is rising and rising and rising, but they need to be a little more realistic with how they're punishing their students. And the way I'm going to show that is I'm going to tell you guys about 3 news stories I read. One was about a kid that got suspended for eating a Pop-Tart that looked like a gun. He got suspended for that. Another kid got suspended for pointing his finger like this, using that as a gun. And 2 kids got expelled because they were shooting an airsoft gun in their own front yard. Okay? So the first one, Pop-Tart gun. A little 8-year-old kid was sitting at lunch eating a Pop-Tart, and he wanted to make it look like a mountain range. And as you can see, it kind of resembles a gun. The school saw that, the school freaked, sent him home, suspended him for a week. Parents got called, everything like that. Kid has no idea why he got suspended. All he knows is he was eating a Pop-Tart and it looked bad. And so the parents were outraged. The school, it was on the news, and people freaked about this. The parents were so mad, and the school took away the suspension and let the kid back in school about a couple days later. In my mind, that's a terrible thing. I mean, what he did was he was just eating a Pop-Tart, and apparently that looks like a gun. The second story, the kid. We all have done this. The kid was playing outside in recess with one of his friends. He was playing cops and robbers. I played that myself when I was younger. And he went around, he was going like pew pew, you know, to the other kid. And the school freaked out because they thought he was using his finger and making gun noises. So he got suspended. And the parents again were outraged by this. And the school doesn't know where they're going wrong. They're just trying to crack down on gun violence rules. And third, but last but not least, there were 2 kids who were waiting for the bus. They were in their front yard. The bus station was probably around 20, 25 feet away. And they were shooting airsoft guns at a tree in their own front yard. Okay? The neighbors saw that. The neighbors got scared because the neighbors thought they were shooting it at the people at the bus station, called the cops. The cops investigated. The cops called the school, and the 2 kids got expelled from school for the rest of that school year. And in my mind, that's terrible because the kids were in their own front yard. They were near a bus stop, but they weren't aiming the guns at a bus stop. I think what you do in your own property line is your own business and no one else's. And so that's the problem. And I talked to Mrs. Hamilton and Mr. Kingsbury, and they gave me some pretty decent explanations. Mr. Kingsbury agrees with what the school did to an extent, but thinks that what they did was too far. I talked to Mrs. Hamilton, and Mrs. Hamilton said what's going on is there's a big gray area where the school doesn't know where to do, but they need to do something, and so they think doing more and more and more is better. And Ms. Hamilton said that the teachers and faculty need to have a clear boundary where this is okay, this is not, you cross this line, this will be the punishment, where if you do this, we'll tell you, hey, try not to do that in the future so you don't get expelled or suspended. And the teachers and the faculty and the principals need to understand why they're suspending the kids. If the principal sees the report, and sees a kid getting suspended or expelled for using his fingers as a gun, I think there needs to be more common sense knowledge into that. And if there's not, then the school needs to change because that's too far. And as you can see, there's a problem with the schools and their zero tolerance policies. And if the school realizes what they're doing and how far they're going, there needs to set a clear divide on what is allowed and what is not. And I believe the schools are going too far. I mean, they're scared, and they shouldn't be scared because the kid's eating a Pop-Tart and it looks like a gun. That's it.